Well, we've seen Game 1 against the Vegas Golden Knights. Are you as unimpressed as I was? I will talk about my general thoughts about the game in a little bit, but first let's go over the 3 questions that I had for the Blackhawks heading into this series against Vegas. Question number 1. Will the Blackhawks remember to move their feet on the power play? Well, they had 2 power play opportunities, and they didn't score on either of them. I wouldn't say that they necessarily looked as bad as last couple against Edmonton, but they still leave a lot to be desired. Question number 2. Will Alex DeBrincat be on the prowl or taking a catnap? The answer, catnap. If you recall, I said before that if you want Alex DeBrincat to be contributing to your team, he needs to be putting the puck in the back of the net on his own. Well, we have a quote from Mr. Alex DeBrincat after Game 1. This was tweeted out by Ben Pope. DeBrincat said, with 0 playoff goals, "I feel like I'm making some plays out there and doing what I can to help the team win. Maybe scoring and producing is something I need to do, but I think it'll come." Alex, you are paid a lot of money to score a lot of goals. You are not doing that. We need you to do that. It is not a maybe. It is something that we need you to do. So if you could please start scoring, that would be great. Question number 3, which was for the universe, granted not the Blackhawks themselves. Corey Crawford versus Robin Lehner. Will the internet cause me to lose my mind? The answer, that's still undecided. So yesterday, I'm not sure if you're aware, but on Monday, if you don't live in the Midwest or in Northern Illinois, we had some pretty bad storms run through here. And I lost internet and cable, so I was not available to watch the game at home. I had to go over to a friend's house. She so graciously let me bum her Wi-Fi so I could stream the game. But because of that, I wasn't on the internet as much throughout the game or afterward because I was driving home after midnight since we had another one of these 9:30 starts. And because I had no internet yesterday, I was spending today catching up on work, so I haven't really been on Twitter all that much. So I haven't seen any hot takery, but there are still plenty of games to be played and a lot of things to be said on the internet, so I'm sure it'll come. Game number 1 was, I don't even know if I have the proper words to describe it. I would say uninspired. I don't know if it was because the Edmonton series was so fast-paced. I mean, you have McDavid and Draisaitl out there. The Blackhawks were mostly keeping up with them. They were definitely skating faster than they normally do, or what we're used to them doing lately. So when they dropped the puck last night against Vegas, I don't know about you, but I was bored. It didn't seem like the game was moving very fast at all. It seemed kind of lazy. And then, of course, Vegas scored, and then they kept scoring, and then we got a shorthanded goal. David Kampf scored a shorthanded goal. That was a thing that happened. Now, I will say that I missed the last 10 minutes of the game because I had to drive home, and at that point I was like, they're going to lose this game. I don't want to get home any later than I'm already going to. So I did miss the last 10 minutes, but we did not score during that time. So I didn't really miss anything. I just wasn't very impressed with what I saw. It seemed like they were just kind of lackadaisical skating around. I'm gonna need to see a lot more from them in Game 2. Obviously, there were a couple goals that Corey probably wants to have back. It happens to every goaltender. You hope he makes the saves. He didn't. All you can do is move on. It was only Game 1. And how about if Robin Lehner doesn't have a skate blade, the Hawks start moving the puck east to west, get him moving a little more, and maybe score when he can't get over to the other side of the net? That might help out a little bit. It was a very weird game, so while I was bored, obviously Vegas is a very good team, and for a while there, throughout the game, neither team scored in the first period. The Hawks were keeping up with them. They were doing an okay job, but once they got that first goal, you just kind of felt that dread that they weren't going to come back from that. And of course, you know the result. They didn't. They lost 4-1, which was rather unfortunate, but it is what it is. Like I said, all we can do is move on and look forward to Game 2, which is tomorrow. Thankfully, it's a 4:30 start, Central Time. and not 9:30. I'm very sick of these late games, but there are no more on the Blackhawks schedule for now. So we'll see. All of that being said, I have 3 questions heading into Game 2 against the Vegas Golden Knights. Question 1. Will the earlier start time make the Blackhawks seem more awake? So, like I said, watching game number 1, at least in my opinion, I was kind of bored. They didn't really seem like they had any urgency to their game, and granted, it is only game 1, but you would like to take that one and be ahead in the series rather than chasing. But, I mean, things happen, right? But I am hoping that with the earlier game time, maybe they'll have a little more pep in their step. Maybe they watched the 6-hour game that was on before them and they got a little tired. I mean, I was worn out by that point. I wasn't even playing the game. I was just watching them and going to 5 overtimes. Oh my goodness. All of that being said, I hope we see a better pace and better tempo in game number 2. We'll just have to wait and see. Question 2. Are you ready for Vegas to score? Now, this was a question I had for the Hawks in the Edmonton series, since it seemed like they always got the first goal, and then the Hawks were just playing catch-up the whole time. Well, as I said earlier, it seemed like the Blackhawks were keeping up with Vegas pretty well, but once they got that first goal, things just kind of went off the rails a little bit. So are they prepared to not take the lead in the game? Because they aren't always going to score first. Vegas will score first, and they did in game number 1, and we saw how that turned out. So are you ready to be chasing the game, be able to tie it up, and then take the lead and go on to win? We shall see. Hopefully we don't have to see in game number 2. Hopefully the Hawks score first and everything is fine and dandy. Question 3. Is not shooting the puck the best game plan? I mean, it just kind of speaks for itself, right? The Hawks had 20 shots in game number 1 compared to Vegas's 34. At least they got 20. They need to have more, obviously. Kirby Dach needs to shoot the puck a lot more than he is. He looks to pass first instead of shooting it. That will just come with time and with reps. Patrick Kane was the same way when he started his career. But the Blackhawks as a whole need to shoot the puck more, and I don't think the best game plan is to be outshot by your opponent every single game. Whether they plan on that happening or not, probably not, but it seems to happen a lot more often than it doesn't. So, shoot the puck? Alright, that wraps up my questions heading into game 2. I hope to come out of this game tomorrow night a lot less frustrated than I was last night, or this morning, I guess, since it ended after midnight. I hope the Hawks can tie up the series. That's left to be seen. And if they go down to a 2-0 hole, I hope they at least look better and more improved than they did from game 1. It's not a hole that's impossible to come out of. We've seen it happen so many times before. It's not something I would want them to be chasing against Vegas necessarily. But they weren't even supposed to be in the playoffs in the first place, so you gotta take what you can get, right? Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you after game number 2. Thank you all for watching. Please hit that subscribe button to catch more From Center Ice content. If you could, hit the like button on this video, maybe share it with a friend or two. And while you're here, check out the podcast playlist and catch up on some old episodes. We will catch y'all next time. Bye!